President Biden's son Hunter plans to plead guilty to 2 federal tax offenses.
His plea deal allows Hunter Biden to avoid prosecution on a felony gun charge and means he'll likely avoid serving time behind bars. Lauren Blanchard reports from Washington.
The president's son, Hunter Biden, has reached a plea deal with the Justice Department after a lengthy investigation. Republicans now say Biden is getting special treatment. Following a 5-year investigation, the president's son cutting a deal to plead guilty to 2 federal misdemeanor tax offenses and agreeing to probation on a felony firearm charge, likely sparing Hunter Biden from serving time behind bars. According to court documents, Biden received more than $1.5 million in 2017 and 2018. He owed $100,000 in federal income taxes each year, but didn't pay. The gun charge states Biden illegally possessed a firearm as a drug user in October of 2018. Sources say he lied on a federal form when he checked no to using illegal drugs when purchasing a gun. President Biden has repeatedly backed his son.
I'm very proud of my son.
It's a brazen move, and it certainly gets the president off the hook when it comes to, having to pardon his son if he faced any jail time.
Still, many Republicans feel the deal only amounts to a slap on the wrist, pointing to what they say are 2 tiers of justice, as former President Trump faces 37 federal counts for his handling of classified documents.
How can Hunter Biden plead guilty, no jail time, and the DOJ say there's still an investigation, try to withhold information to the House? That's unacceptable and will not stand.
Despite the plea deal, the DOJ says the investigation does remain ongoing in case any new information surfaces. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox 32 Chicago.
And joining us now to sort through this case is attorney Ron Schaefer. Ron, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Let's get right into it. Hunter Biden will plead guilty to 2 minor tax charges and unlawful possession of a gun while he was a drug addict. Are these charges what we would consider normal for any person, high profile or not?
Not really. What has happened here is he was investigated for much more serious crimes. Typically, if a normal person were investigated for serious crimes and the Department of Justice did not find sufficient proof of those crimes, there would be no charge. But in this case, very difficult for the Department of Justice to not charge him with something. They found 2 very minor offenses. They charged him.
Okay, so Hunter Biden's representatives, they've said that he's actually paid back more than $1 million in taxes, and he could get a sentence of about 2 years probation. Is he getting preferential treatment here, or is this plea deal consistent with the law?
He is not getting preferential treatment. It is very rare that somebody is charged with failing to pay taxes. It is failing to file or committing tax fraud. Here, he filed his return. He paid late. That is almost never a criminal charge. But in this case, again, because he is related to a public figure, I'm sure the Department of Justice felt pressure to bring a charge, even though if his name was Joe Smith, they would not have brought that charge.
Well, let's talk about the gun in this case. The gun charge carries a maximum sentence of up to 10 years in prison. But the Justice Department says Hunter Biden has reached a pretrial agreement on that charge. Is that unusual to resolve a federal criminal case at the same time the charges are filed in court?
It is not. That is a deal that is worked out before the charge is made. And once again, this is a charge you never see. That is lying on a form about using drugs. The federal government does not charge gun possession unless it's involved in another crime. Here, there is no other crime. It is a very rare charge, but once again, I think the department probably felt that even though they investigated a larger charge and did not find any evidence of that, they were not going to let him go scot-free. So they filed this charge. Pretrial diversion, not unusual for a charge like that.
Really quickly before we let you go, because in the story that came on prior to you, there was a comparison of Hunter Biden and President Donald Trump, the former president. Is there even a comparison there in terms of the 2 cases and the charges?
No, absolutely not. The crime is different. The nature of the offense is different. One involves national security. One involves a failure to make a timely payment. One involves tapes of conversations, photos of evidence being caught red-handed. One involves a simple form on a gun. There is zero comparison. That is pure politics.
All right, and that's why we have you here to break it all down. Attorney Ron Safer, thank you so much for joining us today on First at 4.
My pleasure.
All right, Anthony and Natalie, I'll send it back to you.